Hello students, how are you? Today we are going to see the plus 2 commerce subject unit 3 financial market 2. In this unit it is classified into two chapters, namely stock exchange and SEBI. First we have to discuss about what is stock exchange. In this chapter, what is the meaning of stock exchange? What is the various definitions given by the different authors, and what is the functions of stock exchange, and what is the features of stock exchange, and who are the intermediaries involved in this stock exchange, and who are the kinds of speculators dealing in the stock exchange, and what's the differences between the stock exchange and the commodity exchange, and what is the recent development in the stock exchange. So these points are discussed in this chapter. Shall we go? Okay. First, what is the market? The market is a place where the buyer and sellers are meet and to exchange a product. That is a market. There are a lot of markets in our country, like vegetable market, fruit market, goat market, cow market, etc. The same way, one of the market is called the share market. So all the share markets are controlled by the SEBI, that is called the Securities Exchange Board of India. So in this chapter, we have to what is a stock exchange and what is the functions. The stock exchange or organized market provided a place for the investors to buy and sell the securities freely. The market offers perfectly competitive conditions where a large number of the sellers and buyers participate. The efficient functioning of the stock exchange is responsible for creating a conducive climate for an effective and active and growing primary market for the new issues. There are two markets. One is the primary market and secondary market. In the previous chapter, you studied what is the primary market. It is a place where the shares are new issues. And the secondary market, it's a resale of the security. The secondary market is always depend on the primary market. Which stock exchange is the oldest stock exchange in the world? You know that? Yes, the Amsterdam Stock Exchange is considered as the oldest stock exchange in the world. It was established in the year 1602 by the Dutch East Indian Company called Verenigd Oost-Indisch Compagnie. It's called VOC. It was later rechristened as Amsterdam Bourse. The first stock exchange in India was the Native Shares and Stock Brokers Association. This is the first stock exchange in our country. Then, it was recognized by the government of India on August 31st, 1957 under the Securities Contract Regulations Act 1956. This is a 1-mark question, okay? And it becomes now the BSE, it is called Bombay Stock Exchange. Okay, students? So there are a lot of stock exchanges in our country. The major stock exchanges NSE and BSE. Okay, let us discuss later what is the BSE and what is NSE. Okay, then now what's the meaning of the stock exchange? The stock exchange, or it is called stock market or share market, is one of the important constitutions of the capital market. The stock exchange is an organized market for the purchase and the sale of the industrial and financial securities. It is a convenient place where the trading in securities conducted in a systematic manner as per the rules and regulations. There is no other activities are done in the stock exchange. So all the peoples come there and trading with the help of the broker and getting the profit. And it performs, the stock exchange performs various functions and offers in a useful services to whom? To the investors and the borrowing company. If I purchase a share, I am called as an investor. Okay. So it is an investment for me, the intermediary, and the facilities economical and industrial development of our country. So the economical status always depend on the share market. You know, the London Stock Exchange, it is the most popular stock exchange in the world. And in our country, the Bombay Stock Exchange is the oldest stock exchange in India. These two questions is a 1 mark question. Which one is the most popular stock exchange in the world? They ask. The answer is the London Stock Exchange is the most popular stock exchange in the world. And which stock exchange is the oldest stock exchange in India or in our country? That is called BSE, that is Bombay Stock Exchange. Okay? And similarly, the so many stock exchanges are very popular and throughout the world. And I am telling one or two, like Tokyo Stock Exchange, Bangkok Stock Exchange, Singapore Stock Exchange, Dubai Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange. So these stock exchanges are very most popular stock exchanges in the world. Okay? And what is the definition of the stock exchange? There are so many authors given a various type of definitions. So one of the important and very meaningful definition is given by Husband and Dockery. He say the stock exchange are privately organized market which are used to facilitate the trading in the securities. So what is a stock exchange? It is a place, it is a market. But the market is an organized market and it is done by the private people. I mean, privately it is done, and all the trading securities are done in the place that is called stock market. Who says? The Husband and Dockery says. So this is a 2 mark question. What is the functions of stock exchange? And this is a 5 mark question, students. Listen carefully. The first function is a ready and continuous market. So the stock exchange timing from Monday to Saturday, morning 9:30, 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock or 3:30. So the market is going on continuously. So in fact, the market for existing of securities already in the field of the share market, the existing securities are traded in the stock exchanges. If an investor wants to sell his security, he can easily and quickly dispose the securities with the help of in the stock exchange. He can convert his shares, and with the same he can convert his share into security, or he can convert the security into cash. That market is called the ready and continuous market. This is the first function of the stock exchange. And next is the correct evaluation of security. The evaluation means is what? It is a value. So what type of shares you are having, you want to know what is the present value of this share. If any company like HCL or IBM or Microsoft or any other company's shares you are having, you want to know what is the present value. There are so many applications, there are so many websites are there, there are so many TVs like the NDTV, get the present value of the shares. That is called the correct evaluation. The price at which the securities are bought and sold are recorded and made public. The prices are called market quotations, and one can easily evaluate the worth of the one security on the basis of the quotations. So the lender can easily assess the worth of the security offered for loan. Suppose if you are having a big company shares, you are having, you are getting a loan from the bank. Most valuable company shares you are having, definitely you will get a loan from the bank. So that is one of the function, the correct evaluation of security. And next is the protections to the investors. Each and every people want to invest their money into any field. Suppose you are having a lot of money, you think you put your investment in various fields like land, gold or any other field. One of them is shares or debentures or mutual fund. So the investors not to lose his money in the stock exchange. So the stock exchange, to protect the investors, the stock exchange shows which company is the best company in our country. So they are showing the listing. Later we will discuss what is the meaning of listing. So all dealings in the stock exchange are in accordance with the well-defined the rules and regulations. For an example, the brokers cannot higher rate of the commission for the services. Immediately the stock exchange caught the broker. So any malpractices will be severely punished by the stock exchange. So the stock exchange provide a reasonable value or reasonable measures of the safety and the fair dealings of the buying and selling of the securities. So this is the protections to the investors, and this is one of the function. And the proper channelizations of capital. Your money is invested by the company in various sources. That is the proper channelization. So the people like to invest in the shares in a such company which yield a good profit. The savings of the individual are directed towards the promising company which declare the good dividend and over a period of time. The investment is a two type. One is a short-term investment and the other one is called the long-term investment. The short-term investment means the value, the investment within a year. You can buy the share and immediately within a day or 2 or 3 days or 4 days you sold the shares. So that is a short-term. The long-term process means more than a year. You watching the company, which company is the best in future. Now the value of the shares is very low, but in future the value of the shares is very high. So you concentrate that type of company. That investment is called the long-term investment. So the stock exchanges, the savings are likely to be wasted on the shares or unprofitable units, or automatically the company in the share market to eliminate that company. That is the channelizations of capital. Okay. The aids to capital formation. So our capital is utilized for various purposes. The publicity with the stock exchange gives to the various industrial security and their prices and the facilities provided by it for the purchases and the sale induce people to save his investment. The stock exchange thus ensure a steady flow of capital into the industrial sector and various industrial development. That is aids to the capital formation. And the facilities for the speculation. What is a speculation? The value goes up and down. That is called the speculation. Those who are involved in the speculation, that people is called the speculators. Later we will discuss. There are different types of speculators are in the stock exchange. Namely bull, bear, stag and lamb duck. We will discuss later, children. Okay. The speculation is an integral part of a stock exchange of operations. As a result of speculation, the demand for and supply of the securities are equalized, and similarly the price flow, the price movement are rendered smoothly in the stock exchange. That is called the facilities. Okay, this is one of the function. And some securities are the seasoning securities, and the speculator or underwriters hold for a temporary period, and some companies are issued a new companies. Unlock the security and means shares when the market is prepared to observe the new issues. That is a seasoning companies, seasoning securities. So the speculator watching the type of companies. So they buy the shares of the company, they hold them. And meanwhile, they dealing some other securities. And what they buy, that shares are keeping by the speculator and sold in the future. That is called the seasoning of the security. This is one of the functions of the stock exchange. And so these are all the functions of stock exchange. This is a 5-mark question, students. And next we'll move on to the features of stock exchange. What are the features? In Tamil say we call sirappugal. And one is, our first is, what is the first features of the stock exchange? It is a place, the stock exchange is a market for security. Yes, it is a place, it is a market. For which market? It is a share market. So the future, the market for security. The stock exchange is a market where the securities of the corporate bodies, government and semi-government bodies are bought and sold as shares. And next is dealing in second-hand security. And in the introduction, I say there are two types of market. One is the primary market, the other one is called secondary market. So the primary market means issue of new shares. Simply, one word answer. The primary market means it is a issue of new shares. Secondary market means resale of securities traded in the primary market. So the stock exchange is only dealing second-hand securities. So it deals with the shares, debenture, bond and such securities already issued by the company in the primary market. In short, it deals with the existing or a second-hand security, and hence it is called, that's why this is called the secondary market. The stock exchange is otherwise called secondary market. This is one of the feature. Next, the trading of the securities are regulate in the stock exchange. The stock exchange does not buy and sell any security on its own name or own account. It merely providing the necessary infrastructures and facilities for trading the security to its member and the brokers who are trading in the share market. That is the regulation of trade. And what type of shares are traded? Only the listing companies' shares are traded in the stock exchange. So that is one of the feature. Allows dealing only in the listed companies' shares. The stock exchange maintain an official list of the securities that could be purchased and sold on its floor. You know, children, in our country, there is a 24 stock exchanges. But the major part, one is the NSE, then the other one is called BSE. So there are how many companies are listed in the NSE, you know? That is nearly 1,700 companies are registered in the NSE, that is called National Stock Exchange. The next one is called the BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange. So how many listed companies in the stock exchange? I mean BSE, you know, there are nearly 5,400 companies are listed in the BSE. So these two listing companies are only trading in the stock exchange. The other companies cannot traded in the stock exchange. So the stock exchange maintain an official list. So that could be purchased and sold on the floor. The securities which do not figure in the official list of the stock exchange are called, it is called unlisted securities or unlisted companies securities. And such unlisted securities cannot be traded in the stock exchange. Okay, where the unlisted companies are traded? In the stock exchange are not permitted. You are saying, sir, the stock exchange has not permitted the unlisted company shares. Okay, where the unlisted companies are sold the shares, you know, there is a place. It is called the OTCEI. The OTCEI means the over-the-counter exchange of India. This is a place where the unlisted company shares are traded. This is one of the important question in the 1 mark area. Okay, next feature is the transactions effected only through the members. You can't directly dealing the shares. You can't directly buying and selling the shares. You can buy and sell your shares with the help of the brokers. So all the transactions are traded in the stock exchange are effected through an authorized brokers and members. Without help of the broker, you can't sell your shares or buy the shares. So the outsiders or the other direct investors are not permitted to enter into the trading circle of the stock exchange. The investors have to buy or sell the securities at the stock exchange through the licensed authorized broker. This is the one of the feature. And the association of the person. A stock exchange is a body corporate. So it is an association of the person or a body of the individual person which may be registered or unregistered. That is that people who are dealing in the stock exchange, that is the association of person. Next, it is a recognized, the stock exchange is recognized by the central government. The stock exchange is an organized market, you know. One is the organized market, the other one is called unorganized market. But the stock exchange is the organized market. It requires a recognition from the central government. So this is one of the feature. And the next is working as per the rules and regulations. The stock exchange that is a buying and selling transactions in the stock exchange are governed by the certain rules and regulations as well as SEBI guidelines. In this part, the SEBI. The SEBI means, in our country, tell me children, in our country, all the banks are controlled by whom? Yes, you are correct. The Reserve Bank of India. So, in our country, all the banks are controlled by the Reserve Bank of India because the Reserve Bank of India is the central bank of our country. You are right. Your answer is perfectly correct. The same way, the stock exchange is controlled by and supervised by SEBI, that is a Securities Exchange Board of India. So, no deviation from the rules and regulations and the guidelines is allowed at any cases. So, this is one of the features of the stock exchange. What so far seeing? We are seeing about what is the features of stock exchange. Okay, children? And a specific location. Is there any place for the stock exchange? Yes, there is a place. In our country, the Bombay Stock Exchange are located in Dalal Street. So, there is a place. So, in the stock exchange, in a particular market and placing where the authorized brokers are come together daily, they visiting on working days only, and the floor of the stock exchange, and the price of the different securities are traded on the electronical board in front of the stock exchange. You see you watching the TV, always in the area of the share market, they show a big Bombay Stock Exchange building. In front of that building, there is a digital banner is there. Always some scrolling words are moving in the banner. That is called the electronical board. All the company's values are displayed in the banner. So, after the working hours are closed, all the working of the stock exchange is conducted and controlled through the computers in an electronical system. This is through electronical, I mean the computers. So, nowadays, all the transactions are paperless transactions. So, it is called computerized. So, it is an electronical system. So, this is a specific location. And the stock exchange is a financial barometer. How? For an example, you bought a share by any company. At the time of your buying the share, the value is 15. Now, you want to know what is the present value of the share. How do you know? You watching the TV or you watching the internet and log into the Bombay Stock Exchange website, searching the name of the company and what is the present value of that company. So, the stock exchange is a financial barometer. It means, நீ வைத்திருக்கக்கூடிய அந்த ஷேருடைய மதிப்பு என்ன அப்படிங்கிறத தெரிஞ்சுக்க முடியும். That is the financial barometer. The stock exchange is a financial barometer and development indicator of the national economy of the country. So, the industrial growth and stability is reflected in the index of the stock exchange. So, நம்ம வச்சிருக்கக்கூடிய ஷேர் வேல்யூ என்னன்னு தெரியாது. You see, 2 years back in 2017, one person hold the 1500 shares for his grandfather. After the death of the grandfather, he getting the shares, he counting the shares. At the time, the value of the number of shares is 1500. So, immediately he called the broker. My grandfather holding 1500 of this particular company shares. Is there any value at present? Now the company is on the line or it is out of the boundary. The share broker says, sir, now the value of this 1500 shares is nearly 108 crores. So, at the time of the share in the year of 1990, his grandfather purchased the company's shares, the total 1500 shares. Maybe the value is 100 rupees per share. But after 25 years, the value of the present shares is 108 crores. This is a barometer. So, the stock exchange is the financial barometer of our shares. This is one of the future. Okay, children. So far, what are the points are to be discussed in this chapter? You see, number one, the meaning of stock exchange and the definition of stock exchange, and what is the features and the various functions of the stock exchange. So these are all the very important area, like a 5-mark session, 2-mark session and 1-mark session. You children, the stock exchange is a very important one for the economical development of the country, because the peoples are invested in various places like gold or land or any other field. And particularly, some of the peoples are saying the stock exchange, the share trading is a gambling. Yes, it's a gambling, but you have to choose a right company. Which company's shares are more valued, which companies are not listed, unlisted company. You never choose the unlisted companies. You have to certain knowledge about the company. So you see, எந்த ஒரு ஆக்டிவிட்டிஸ் நம்ம எடுத்துக்கிட்டாலும் அதில் நன்மையும் இருக்கும், தீமையும் இருக்கும். அதே மாதிரி தான் ட்ரேடிங்கும். அதில் பெனிஃபிட்ஸும் இருக்குது, லிமிட்டேஷன்ஸும் இருக்குது. நாம் செலக்ட் பண்ணுறதை பொறுத்து தான் விச் ஒன் இஸ் த பெஸ்ட் அப்படிங்கிறத நம்ம தெரிஞ்சுக்க முடியும். ஸோ த ஸ்டாக் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் அப்படிங்கிறது அதுதான். ஸோ நம்மளுடைய பணம் எந்த வகையில் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் பண்ணப்படுது, ஹவு அவர் மனிஸ் ஆர் இன்வெஸ்டட், அதுதான் ஷேர் மார்க்கெட். ஸோ த ஷேர் மார்க்கெட்டில் என்னென்ன பெனிஃபிட்ஸ் இருக்குது, இன் ஃபர்தராக நம்ம என்ன பார்க்குறோம் அப்படின்னா, what are the benefits of the stock exchange, what is the limitations of the stock exchange, and what are the different types of stock exchanges in our country, and what is the recent development of the stock exchange. There are so many recent development of the stock exchanges in our country nowadays, and what's the comparisons, the stock exchange and the commodity exchange, and who are the brokers. See, already saying sir, நிறைய தடவை சொல்லியிருக்கீங்க, brokers தான் ஸ்டாக் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்சில் ட்ரேட் பண்ண முடியும், வித்தவுட் த ஹெல்ப் ஆஃப் த brokers we can't அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்கீங்க. அப்போ அந்த brokers எப்படி இருப்பாங்க, ஐ மீன் எங்கே இருப்பாங்க, அவங்க என்ன மாதிரியான ஆக்டிவிட்டியில் ஈடுபடுறாங்க. there are so many brokers and there are different names. நம்ம அவங்கள brokers அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாம், authorized clerkன்னு சொல்லுவோம், remiser அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம், jobbers அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். and what is their work, எப்படி அவங்க ட்ரேட் பண்ணுறாங்க அப்படிங்கிறத நம்ம ஃபர்தராக அடுத்த செஷன்ஸில் நம்ம பார்க்கலாம். ஓகே சில்ட்ரன், தேங்க்யூ சில்ட்ரன்.